On March 15th, 44 BCE, Julius Caesar was assassinated in a brutal act that changed the course of history. His murder wasn't just for political gain, it was a betrayal from those he trusted most. You'll learn about the shocking events leading up to Caesar's death, the betrayal by his closest allies, and the aftermath that rocked the Roman Empire. What did Julius Caesar know about the danger that awaited him? Was he truly blind to the coming betrayal, or did he ignore the signs? Leading up to the Ides of March, Caesar received several warnings. A soothsayer famously told him, "Beware the Ides of March," a cryptic message that Caesar did not take seriously. Despite this sinister memo, Caesar boldly chose to live his life the same way he had done before. He was a walking target, and easy prey. At this point in his life, Caesar had amassed tremendous power. He was named dictator for life, a position that gave him control over Rome and her military. While this granted him unprecedented authority, it also made him a threat. Many of the Roman Senate and the elite grew suspicious of his power, fearing that he would become a king and destroy the Roman Republic. This unease created a volatile atmosphere, with whispers of plots against him growing louder. Even though Caesar was aware of some discontent amongst the Senate, he was undeterred. His towering sense of self-assurance, perhaps driven by years of military success and political victories, led him to dismiss the rising threats. He believed his position was unshakable. The night before his assassination, Caesar was in high spirits, celebrating his triumphs and expanding his influence. He appeared to be a man on top of the world, unaware or perhaps unwilling to acknowledge that the Senate's plot to end his reign was already in motion. Was Caesar truly oblivious, or was he too self-important to notice the signs? The events of March 15th would soon reveal the tragic truth. The Senate called Caesar a tyrant, but was he really? Caesar's relationship with the common Roman citizens was one of admiration and loyalty. Unlike many of his political peers, Caesar made significant reforms that directly benefited the people. He redistributed land to veterans and provided grain to the poor, earning him widespread affection. To many, he wasn't a power-hungry dictator, but a savior who improved their lives. In addition to his reforms, Caesar's military success brought wealth and glory to Rome, making him a hero in the eyes of the people. His conquests expanded the empire, securing Roman dominance across the known world, which bolstered his popularity among Roman citizens, who benefited from the increased stability and prosperity. However, the Senate viewed Caesar's rise to power very differently. While he was loved by the people, his growing influence threatened the status of the elite. Fearing the loss of their power, many senators plotted his downfall. But this action, aimed at protecting the Republic, also made them enemies of the very citizens who adored Caesar. In the end, his popularity among the people complicated the Senate's efforts to restore the traditional Roman order. Marcus Junius Brutus was a man torn between his love of the Republic and his love of Caesar. The bond between Caesar and Brutus was one of great complexity. Brutus, a trusted ally, shared a personal and deep connection with Caesar. Some even speculated that Brutus was Caesar's illegitimate son, adding an emotional layer to their already strong relationship. Despite their closeness, Brutus faced an internal struggle that would come to define his place in history. Over time, Brutus became increasingly concerned about Caesar's growing power. Although Caesar had made many reforms that benefited Rome, there were those, including Brutus, who feared that his rising influence could lead to the collapse of the Republic. As Caesar's control over the government strengthened, the Senate grew more anxious about the future. The idea of Caesar potentially declaring himself king sparked fears that the Republic, once built on shared power, could fall into the hands of a single ruler, as it was in the times before. Brutus was caught in a profound internal conflict. On one hand, he felt immense personal loyalty to Caesar, who had been a friend and a father figure. On the other hand, he believed that his duty was to Rome, and the ideals of the Republic came before personal allegiances. The question lingered. Could Brutus reconcile these two conflicting loyalties, or was it one or the other? Was Brutus motivated by his genuine concern for Rome's future, or was he swayed by the political pressures of the Senate? Whatever his true motivation, Brutus's decision would have far-reaching consequences, shaping the future of Rome and the world. On the 15th of March, 44 BCE, Julius Caesar entered the Senate House unaware of the conspiracy that had been carefully planned against him. For years, he had been a dominant figure in Roman politics, but on that fateful day, he was nothing but a target. As Caesar made his way into the Senate House, the conspirators, led by Brutus, surrounded him. Brutus struck the first blow. This marked the beginning of an orchestrated attack to depose the dictator. According to historical accounts, Caesar's final words were, "Et tu, Brute," and you, Brutus? This phrase, while likely a later embellishment, conveys the sense of personal betrayal Caesar must have felt in that moment. The conspirators went on to stab Caesar 23 times, ensuring his death was both decisive and symbolic. His death was meant to restore the Republic, though it would, in fact, lead to its total collapse. What happened after Caesar's death? Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, later known as Augustus, emerged as a central figure in this struggle. Octavian, alongside his allies Mark Antony and Lepidus, formed the Second Triumvirate and began their quest for dominance. However, internal conflict and betrayal amongst the triumvirs eventually led to Octavian's rise as the undisputed ruler of Rome. In 20 BCE, Octavian declared himself Augustus, becoming the first Roman emperor and marking the official transition from the Republic to the Empire. Despite the intentions of the conspirators, who believed they were saving Rome from tyranny, Caesar's death did not restore the Republic. Instead, it laid the foundation for a new form of government, one that was even more centralized and autocratic than the rule of Caesar himself. The assassination, intended to protect the Roman Republic, effectively sealed its fate, and imperial rule replaced the traditional republican structure. The conspirators had hoped to prevent the rise of tyranny, but by eliminating Caesar, they unwittingly paved the way for the rise of a new, more powerful form of dictatorship. The murder of Julius Caesar did not save Rome. It changed it forever, setting the stage for the dominance of the emperors. Julius Caesar's assassination is one of history's most famous betrayals, but it wasn't just one man's death. It was about the collapse of a system that had served Rome for centuries. Now you can see how betrayal, power, and loyalty intertwined to change the world forever.